seen a bag of balloons, but I guess you don't.
Mm-hmm. All right, it's 5:01. Hi, everybody. My name is Rich Frascone, and I'm here to introduce you to Who's Telling the Truth, the show where we want to dig into the media's questions and find out if they're being factual or fictional. We need your help. We need to find out who's telling the truth. Hey, everybody, Uncle Rich here. It's Monday night again. Hey, football season's coming up, I tell you. So you'll be able to watch us, and we'll warm you up for the pregame activities. We're going to have a hell of a season. Tonight is show number 25. That's right, and today is August 5th. And today, the show is on capitalism. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Rich, you jumped ship. No. What I'm thinking is, why aren't we taking advantage of the things that are available to us, like the low-hanging fruit? You say, Rich, what are you, crazy? Low-hanging fruit? Now what are you talking about? Guys, tonight we're going to show you a clip from a guy in Brookfield that's having solar panels put on his house. And I tell you, you're going to be impressed. They're doing a beautiful job. We're going to take a really good look at it. But tonight, the first thing I want to talk about, you know how I love to hate Fox News. Well, the other night, I'm sitting there minding my own business, and I have Fox playing in the background. You know, kind of like you would have a ball game on. You know, when things get interesting, you turn towards it. But I got Fox, and I'm on the internet, and they start talking about global warming. And guys, I want to tell you what this one guy came up with, and I'm telling you, you can't make this stuff up. Now, this guy is named Pat Michaels, and he's from the Cato Institute. Ring a bell? You know, we showed you earlier how the Cato Institute, the Heritage Foundation, they're all think tanks for who? The Koch brothers, you know, Americans for Prosperity. Yeah, they're trying to buy the country. So, guys, I'm telling you, if you got a drink near you, pick it up because you're going to need it. So I'm sitting there, and I'm listening to this guy, and the antenna goes up, and fellas, I couldn't download the clip, but you have to trust me. So what does this bonehead say? You know, we're talking about the glaciers melting and the seas rising and how we have the subways in New York is flooded the last 2 years in a row. So what does this guy say? Guys, this is the truth. He said, the oceans aren't rising. The earth is sinking. Swear to God. The earth is sinking. So you know what's going to happen? On all the blogs tonight, all the boneheads are going to be out there. The oceans aren't rising. The earth is sinking. And guys, this is what we're dealing with. This is the kind of incompetence that they're putting on the air. And that's why we surround ourselves with question marks. So that every time they say something stupid like that, bada bing! That ain't enough. Sometimes you got to give them the double. Boom! I mean, how ridiculous. How much does this guy get paid? How much can the Koch brothers pay somebody like that to make a fool out of themselves on national TV? To embarrass themselves and their family by saying something so ridiculous as the earth is safe. Guys, hopefully next week I'll have the clip, so you'll say, Rich. All right. But anyway, you know, we want to really get into the idea of capitalism. But before we start that, we want to do what we always do on the show. We like to show that we're patriotic. We care about the country. We want to do the right thing. And, you know, what do we look for? We always look up at the flag. And, guys, what's the one thing I always say to you when that flag is blowing? When you look up at the flag, you want to reach over to the guy next to you and you want to do what? You want to give him the old scooch. And you want to say, hey, what does that flag represent? And they're going to say, well, that flag represents apple pie, Chevrolet, Mom. Yeah, it does. But the one thing that we're really concerned about now is that it represents free energy, friendly energy. And we're seeing it putting Judy through her paces over here. And we're seeing it there. Well, yeah, go ahead, Judy, roll them. Isn't that beautiful? That's a solar billboard. The solar and the wind. I mean, these are all things that we don't have to fight over, guys. And don't forget, when we have a huge solar energy spill, it's just called a nice day. I mean, you can't pollute anything with sun. You might get a little burn once in a while. And don't forget, you know, we're trying to promote the idea of the solarized Connecticut. And let's see what else. And what's the most important thing that we want to think about when we're talking about free energy? The fact that we'll never, ever have to send our kids to go fight for it. You know? Like that video, like that still just said, it just dawned on me. You know, guys, we got to start waking up. All right, so now, we have a new camera person today, and we're going to put her through her paces. We want to turn people into capitalists. And you're saying, Rich, what are you talking about now? Guys, it's really simple. Our buddy Mary Lou up in New Fairfield just had her best month ever. So, Dawn, if you can move over to camera 3. We're very informal here. Oh. Charlene, can you move her over? Dawn, put the headphone down. Just put it down. It won't reach. Just follow me. Okay. Hey, guys, this is what you call having fun. All right? So now, we want to take a look at Mary Lou's house. And we'll take a look up here. And this is her solar energy production. This is for the month. All right, are you able to follow me on that? Okay, so that's for the month. But look at this. Let's swing over. Guys, she just had her best month ever. July was the best month. Look, it eclipsed June. I'm sure August is going to be up there. But you can see, this is what she's generating, and this is what she's feeding to the grid. And if you look on this one down here, this is the daily chart, and you could see 7 o'clock in the morning, the sun's just starting to come up, and look, it has a parabolic effect. Look how it curves upwards. But the fact that she's able to generate electricity like this and sell it to her neighbors makes her a capitalist. And you know also, guys, the other two things that we talk about on this show, Tesla Motors. If you look at the chart on Tesla Motors, Tesla went from virtually, let's see, back in April, you could have bought Tesla Motors for $50 a share. Which count? Oh, okay. $50 a share. Can you believe that? At 3 o'clock this afternoon, it was at 143. Isn't that almost a triple? And look at Solar City. Solar City stock, you could have bought it back in April for $20 a share, and now it's at 45. So, Judy, if you can come back to me in camera 2, Guys, there's nothing wrong with being a capitalist. Nothing. You can put solar panels on your roof to make yourself feel warm and fuzzy. You can put solar panels on your roof to make yourself feel cold and greedy. I don't care. As long as that when you put them on, you make sure that the referral fee gets paid to the City of Danbury Fund so that we can use that money for the common good of the City of Danbury. Folks, it's that easy. We've got a gift. We've got a gift. Let's not look a gift horse in the mouth. Now, we're going to show you today, like I said, what's going on in Brookfield. But the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to look at Tesla. And I was working in New Canaan, and ever since I became aware of Tesla, every car I look at, I look to see if they have a grill in the front. Because if they have a grill, I know they're not a Tesla. Because Tesla doesn't need any air passing through it. So I come walking out of the basement. I'm finishing up the central vac installation. I come walking out of the basement. I just happen to look over, and I see a car with no grill. And I go, is that a T? Sure enough, there's the Tesla staring me right in the face. So, Judy, if we can go to the first clip, the first thing I want you to notice is how quiet. There's no sound whatsoever. Bye. For some reason, we got no Wizard of Oz type of. But anyway, and then you guys can see what types of houses I put central vacs in. And there's Old Faithful. All right. Okay, we can't hear anything out here. All right, I guess that's the end of that clip, so let's come back to me now. Judy, let's come back to camera 2. Okay. Now, I don't know what happened to the sound on that clip, but maybe that was divine intervention. Because, guys, when it comes to a Tesla, they don't make any noise. They don't. It's like driving a golf cart, but quieter. And, you know, I follow everything that Elon Musk does. Oh, and by the way, next Monday, they are going to announce the Hyperloop, and I think he's going to announce it out of California. But I tell you, they're talking about going from New York to San Francisco, I think in like 2 hours or an hour. It's going to be next Monday will be the announcement. So, for all the investors out there, hey, if these stocks doubled and tripled, guess what the other stuff is going to do? And you know what? Maybe making money ain't such a bad thing. But anyway, getting back to Elon Musk, one time I'm watching, he's having a press conference. And one of the first questions, the lady comes on and she goes, Elon, your car's too quiet. Is there any way you can make it louder? And I sat there and I said, you got to be kidding me. This lady wants to make the car louder? What, is she crazy? And you know what Elon Musk said? He said, ma'am, we're working on it. And I said, you're working on it? He goes, yeah. He goes, we're thinking of having a sensor so that when the car goes by somebody, it gives off like a beep, like a so you know that the car, so you don't accidentally walk into it. So here I am thinking another stupid question, and it wasn't, because you can't hear these things. All right, so now we're going to take the second home video, and we're going to meet the owner of the new Tesla. So, Judy, if you can roll it. Oh. Okay, guys, I'm in New Canaan, and this is an up-front enclosed Tesla, and I mean, just take a good look. What a beautiful car. The owner is here. That's the owner there. I'm going to try to get a quick interview with him, but just so we get a better look inside, I wonder if he's had. No. Oh, you did? You did get the jump seats.
Yeah, we got the jump.
All right.
We have a young 9-year-old who likes sitting back there. We used it several times.
Well, I tell you, when I was a kid.
Yeah, I know you faced back.
Well, yeah, and we went to a Boy Scout thing in New York City. We were fighting over who was going to be. Can you just open the door so I can...
Yeah, of course.
See how that locks unlock?
It can sense that your hand is there. I mean, the guy's a genius, I'm telling you. He thinks of every...
Can you tell the audience how happy you are with the car?
Sure. Hi, I'm the owner of this Tesla. I am extremely happy. It exceeded my expectations. It's been great in every way. Worth every penny.
Worth every penny, okay.
Yep.
And have you put solar panels on your roof yet to power the car?
No, but that's a good thought, and maybe down the road. I know Tesla's going to be doing that with their charging stations on the road.
Yeah.
They will be solar powered.
Right, well, the ones that they did on exit 12 are off the grid.
But they're not,
but
they are off the grid.
Yeah, they're off the,
but they will be solar powered.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, guys, you can't make this stuff up. It's the proud owner of a Tesla, and here we are in New Canaan. Let's hope we can get them to put solar panels on there. Hey, thanks an awful lot for your time.
Welcome.
Take care. You know, guys, the one thing that I didn't until I watched the video, it didn't make sense to me. The guy had a GPS sitting on his dashboard. Well, with the Tesla 17-inch touchscreen, why was he using his GPS unless he hasn't gotten used to navigating with the Tesla, which is possible. I mean, I didn't even know I could get email with my phone until my wife hooked me up today, so I can't throw stones at anybody. All right, now, don't take my word for it, and don't take that guy's word for it about Tesla. Let's go to a video that proves that the Tesla is the best car in the world for 2013. Judy, if you can roll the next one.
Each year at Green Car Reports, we pick the car that gets more people interested in driving greener. We call it our best car to buy. This year's nominees include the Chevy Spark, the Ford C-Max Hybrid and Energy, the Ford Fusion Hybrid and Energy, the Nissan Altima CVT, and the Volkswagen Jetta Hybrid. But when it comes to green cars, there's really just one car this year that completely changes the landscape, that completely changes the idea of what a green car can be. That car is the Tesla Model S, our Green Car Report's best car to buy for 2013. The Model S is Tesla's second car, the follow-up to the Roadster. It's a 7-passenger vehicle, and technically it's a hatchback with 2 small jump seats in back. A pure electric vehicle, the Model S comes in 3 battery pack sizes, 40 kilowatt hours, 60, and 85 kilowatt hours. It delivers up to 265 miles of electric driving.
In performance mode, the Tesla Model S can do 0 to 60 in less than 5 seconds. The regular car does it in around 6 seconds, and that's pretty impressive for a 5-passenger luxury sports sedan.
The base versions can accelerate to 60 miles an hour in about 6 to 7 seconds. But what's remarkable about the Tesla Model S is how it handles. After a day spent driving the Model S through Malibu and canyon roads north of Los Angeles, we think it handles the road and holds like a sports car. The center of gravity is lower than any other sedan, the battery pack is mounted low, and it rides a little firmly over pavement imperfections. You know it's not a soft luxury sedan. It doesn't float over every imperfection in the road, but its air suspension keeps the ride remarkably good over bigger bumps, even the deepest potholes. That said, we wouldn't exactly call the Model S nimble. It's a big car with a long wheelbase and a lot of mass, and though you can tailor its steering feel for added weight, like other electric steering systems, it's not particularly filled with feedback. To drive the Model S, you'll have to master the art of regenerative braking.
Regenerative braking is when you lift off the accelerator and the electric motor that's propelling the car turns into a generator to put electricity back into the battery. What that does is slow down the car, rather like an accelerated version of engine braking. Tesla's known for its aggressive regen, and one of the things that you need to learn when you're driving a Tesla is how long it will take the car to slow down so that you pitch it correctly. We just stopped a little bit short of the light, so you learn essentially to lift off just to glide to the stop at the light.
Model S, you also have to get used to the lack of drivetrain noise to help you drive. As one of our editors said, if you disable the traction control, it's easy to slide very quickly and very quietly. But the Model S isn't entirely without noise.
One of the things we noticed driving the Tesla Model S is that tire noise is very apparent on certain types of surfaces. California uses grooved concrete, and these tires seem to generate a lot of roar, as you may have just heard.
Now, if you buy a Model S, you can plan on charging at home, but you can also take advantage of one of Tesla's supercharger stations if you live in the right area. In the LA area, there are 6 stations now, one of them near Hawthorne, California, near the company's design studio. We visited Hawthorne to sample the supercharger to top off the Tesla Model S before our long drive.
Supercharging is available on most Model S variations, except the lowest range one with the 40 kilowatt-hour battery pack. It'll recharge even the 85 kilowatt-hour battery pack to about 80% in an hour or less, depending on how depleted the pack is, and that'll give you about 200 more miles. The EPA rates that version at 265 miles of electric range. Here's how it works. You simply open the charge door, pull out the supercharging cable, you have the charge door on the car open,
and in most cases, Tesla says you can plan on about an 80% charge in about an hour. No matter how much of a charge you need, you can keep an eye on how it's doing on the Tesla's gauges, where you can also monitor your previous usage. There's even more information available, a stunning amount of information available on the Tesla's huge 17-inch touchscreen display. It's mounted vertically in the center of the dash, and its sheer size, the design, the brightness of the display, and the lightning-quick response really makes every other car's touchscreen interface feel about a decade old. We wonder about the brightness and about the driver distraction sometimes, but we think it's the easiest system to use so far. For simpler tasks like adjusting volume, you can use steering wheel mounted controls. Now, to get inside the Tesla, you can either press its key fob or press on the door handle so that the handles themselves deploy. You'll be pleased with the amount of interior space in the Tesla, particularly in the front seats. There's exceptional room in front, and the seats themselves are very sporty and very firm. In back, it's a little bit more of an exercise to get in, and there's less knee and head room in general. Since there's no engine, the Tesla has a front-mounted trunk, or frunk, for luggage, and there's also a big cargo area in back. The Tesla's base price is now about $60,000 and can touch $100,000. Even at those prices, we think the Model S has changed what a luxury car, what a sports sedan can be, forever.
It's a sporty luxury car, and it's also all electric. That makes the Tesla Model S a milestone. It may be the first one available anywhere in the world, but we think it won't be the last. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Volker.
Read more about the Model S at Green Car Reports and follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, and read more at The Car Connection and at Motor Authority.
All right, now you guys saw how big the touchscreen is. So I don't know, hopefully, you know, I gave the owner of the Tesla one of my cards so that he can watch me on YouTube. So hopefully when he watches this show, he'll go, wait, I never even, because I'm sure there's so many things that that screen can do that, you know, that he's not familiar with yet. But anyway, at least he's got one, and I tell you, he was a happy camper. All right, now we're going to shift gears a little bit again, because the one thing that we like to show you each week is we want to prove to you about global warming and how to deal with the climate deniers. So what we're going to look at again tonight is what's called the hockey stick. And these guys, they always love to sing the same song, that the hockey stick has been debunked. Guys, the hockey stick has not been debunked. If anything, it's been reinforced. And why? Because the data that's become available is more specific than the data that they were able to use earlier. The earlier data virtually consisted of only tree ring data. They've gone a step further. They use coral, they use sea, and plus they're using the records from Ben Franklin and Thomas Jefferson, who recorded the temperature every day of the year back in the 1700s. So they're using that. So what we're going to do is, if anybody ever says to you again, well, the hockey stick has been debunked, after you watch this clip, you're going to go, bada bing! And that'll end that. So, Judy, let's get into business.
The Vikings. Talk to a climate denier long enough, and he's sure to start telling you about the Vikings. The climate deniers love the Vikings. They love to talk about some long-forgotten halcyon era when happy Vikings lived in a lush Greenland, celebrating a benign, warm period of prosperity and happiness. It's an article of absolute faith among climate deniers that 1,000 years ago the whole planet was warmer than today, and that the current warming is just part of a grand cycle mediated by the sun or some other mechanism. They call it the medieval warm period. And if you ask, they'll point to this graph as the proof. And this is actually a good graph. We like this graph. It's well sourced. It comes from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change from their first report in 1990. When the IPCC first met, one of the things they realized was that the infant science of climatology didn't know that much about temperature data over the last millennium. They turned to someone who had been studying the problem for a long time. H. Lamb was an eminent scientist, a climatologist, and someone who had spent decades collecting evidence of temperature data over the last 1,000 years. He studied tree rings and agricultural records and historical accounts of weather and climate events, and put together the first credible graph of temperatures in northern Europe over the preceding millennium. And it was this data that the IPCC drew upon for their first attempt at modeling the last 1,000 years. The most eye-catching feature of the graph is the large hump around 1000 AD, generically labeled medieval warm period. Denialists have seized on this and still insist that this early, incomplete picture is the most accurate and up-to-date snapshot available of global climate history. There are a few questions about this graph. Lamb's data came almost entirely from northern Europe and overwhelmingly from central England. Could it be that the so-called warm period was a regional effect, a local aberration peculiar to the northern Atlantic region? What the IPCC needed was a larger view that sampled sources from a much broader area of the planet. That task was taken up later in the decade by climatologist Michael Mann at Penn State University. Spreading a much wider net, Mann and his team collected not just tree rings, but historical data, coral samples, and ice core data, and other evidence from over the entire northern hemisphere. In 1998, the Mann team published their graph, which eventually became part of the IPCC third assessment report in 2000. The graph was striking. Gone was the medieval warming hump, and what now appeared as the most dramatic feature was an upturn in global temperatures in the last 150 years. This configuration gave the graph its popular name, the hockey stick. The hockey stick immediately became a lightning rod for climate deniers, some of whom thought they found a flaw in Mann's statistical methodology. The controversy flared in the media, on the internet, and eventually even ended up at the highest levels of Congress and the government. And that's where Abraham Lincoln comes in. In 1863, Lincoln put his signature to a document creating the National Academy of Science. Although not a constitutional office, the Academy was meant to be, in effect, a Supreme Court for scientific questions that Lincoln realized were becoming more and more a critical element in governmental decision-making. The Academy is recognized as the gold standard of scientific assessment. And in 2005, the Academy was commissioned by Congress to rule on the hockey stick controversy. The report was released in 2006 and contained some criticism of the hockey stick process, but overall affirmed the graph as an accurate summary of current knowledge. The basic conclusion, the Academy wrote, was that the late 20th century warmth in the Northern Hemisphere was unprecedented during at least the last 1,000 years. This conclusion has subsequently been supported by an array of evidence that includes both additional large-scale surface temperature reconstructions and pronounced changes in a variety of local proxy indicators, such as melting on ice caps and the retreat of glaciers around the world, which in many cases appear to be unprecedented during at least the last 2,000 years. So the National Academy had weighed in. Their verdict? Medieval warming, not so much. The following year, the IPCC republished the Mann graph along with new research from other teams following their own methodologies. There was no longer just a hockey stick, but a whole hockey team. In 2008, Mann and his team expanded on their graph, incorporating the suggestions of the National Academy panel, and produced a new graph that stretched back an additional 700 years. Yes, climate scientists know that the Earth is much older than a few thousand years, and that climate has changed in much earlier times as well. We'll be talking about much longer stretches of time in upcoming programs, so I hope you'll keep coming back, bring your denier friends, and continue to support the Climate Denial Crock of the Week.
Guys, did you see what he had to say about the National Academy of Sciences that was created by Lincoln? He said that they are the gold standard in scientific investigation. He called them the Supreme Court of scientific investigations. And guys, we know that from the National Academy of Sciences, 97.3% of the scientists writing peer-reviewed studies, and that's so important, peer-reviewed studies, 97.3% agree that man-made global warming is happening. Folks, when 97% agree, that leaves 2% that don't agree. And what does Fox want you to do? Fox wants you to think that that 2% of uncertainty is equal to the 97.3% of certainty. And this is why I get so upset, because they intentionally mislead you. And why? For the 1%, so they can continue to burn coal and oil and try to kill your kids. That's right. That's right. You know, remember we've done, Exxon wants to kill your kids. They want to put enough carbon in the air where eventually none of us can exist. Get rid of the climate. Get rid of the planet. And you know, why aren't conservatives concerned about conservation? Why don't they change the name of their party? You know? Really. Just change the name of your party to the Greedy Bastards. Make it simple. Tell us who you are. Tell us how you're trying to rob us. And try to tell us how you're killing our kids. And you know what? We'll thank you for it. Because you're the party of obstruction and you don't care about anybody. But you know what, folks? We're going to take the ball away from you. That's right. We're going to start to do things differently. We're going to start to use solar and wind. And right now, we're going to give you a perfect example of how solar is working right around the corner in Brookfield. And we're going to meet my new best friend in the whole world. So, Judy, if you can roll the next clip, let's go to Brookfield. Okay. Guys, this good looking... Oh, but I got to do this right. When I went up to New Fairfield, I did the whole house. You had to watch the show sideways. This is... I'm sorry, you got to introduce yourself again.
Okay.
Introduce yourself. I'm sorry.
I'm Mike Berman.
Mike Berman, okay. And we're on Aspen Drive.
No, this is Miss Till Drive.
Oh, I'm sorry. Miss Till Drive in Brookfield. And now you were saying your house almost didn't qualify,
Well,
right?
the thing is...
The orientation you said is east, so
It's
right now
east-west.
this is facing west then, right?
actually, the roof, okay, yeah, is facing west on this side, east on the other side.
Okay, and how many panels total will you be putting up on the roof?
I don't remember. It's on the plans.
Okay,
But,
this is the box that the panels came in.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's Canadian made, CanadianSolar.com. Because in one of the videos, okay, and there's nothing there. In one of the other videos, I forget the guy's name from Solar City, but he says, look, we buy the panels wherever we can.
Fred Fields, probably.
No, Fred Fields the salesman. Now, this is the guy, Lyle, from Solar City. He's like the CEO. So, but anyway, so you said you almost didn't qualify. And they have to, and the reason why is they have to be able to guarantee what they're going to be able to produce. And yours might have been a little...
Correct.
Might have been a,
Yeah.
okay. But you decided to go ahead with it.
Correct.
And this is going to supply 85% of your power.
85% of our power.
And then, but I appreciate the fact that you're letting us, come by and sharing this with everybody. Because, in the future, what I was planning is, and stuff like this, we have like a little party. You bring out a box of Joe from Dunkin' Donuts, some donuts, and everybody, hey! But can we take a look at the inverters?
Sure.
Did they put the inverters in?
Yeah, they're in. They get you a little bit of light.
Look at this. Wow. Wow.
Those are the inverters there.
Wow.
They're huge.
Gorgeous. Look what a nice job they did, guys. Now, no logos. It says Solar Edge. And then you see Solar City, Solar Guard. Okay.
And of course, we're
So
not
they put up
putting-
this whole panel and this whole board, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we didn't want anything on the outside. So.
All right. Now, I see you have an on-off here. Is
Correct.
that, do you have a battery backup?
No battery backup, but CL&P has to put in a reverse meter,
Right.
and they haven't done that yet. So they can't switch the power on until CL&P does their thing.
Okay. But you'll be able to shut this off in the future?
Sure.
Okay. I don't know why you'd want to unless, the one thing that I always thought, because I assumed, I thought that when you had solar hooked up, if the grid was down, you'd be able to supply power to everything.
You should be able to.
No, I don't think
No?
you have to have battery backup. We better talk
Oh,
to...
yeah, there's no... Right, because the panels don't store anything.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is also, if you were using your panels while there was a guy trying to fix the grid, you'd kill him.
Yeah.
But what a beautiful job they mounted the whole panel so you guys can see. And then I'm going to take just a quick shot of how they brought the line down from the house so you could see.
Yeah, that hasn't been done yet, but it's going to go into that conduit right there.
Right. But I mean, this is all the... Why did they run that conduit to the second floor? Did they run this one going up here?
Yeah, that's theirs.
That's theirs. It seems weird that it went to the second floor like that.
I don't know. I know they're going to end up burying wires. You're not going to be able to see any wires.
Okay. But look, they duct sealed everything, And the guys up on the roof, they're all belted off, which is nice.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, but overall, how would you say they treated you? I mean,
Awesome.
They took care of you? Yeah?
Awesome. They explained everything to us. Of course, no high-pressure sales.
Right,
Because
right.
it was them interviewing us, not us interviewing them.
And while he's talking, I'm just showing the neighborhood, guys. But you can see this house probably won't qualify.
No.
There's
No,
too much shade.
Definitely not. This guy over here is thinking about doing it.
Well, you know, I tell you what. I got to talk to him, and hopefully we can get a referral fee.
He's thinking about doing it. The person that lives in that White House right there is thinking about doing it.
No kidding.
Yep.
Oh, brother.
So,
oh, brother. I got to give him cards and get him to watch the show. But I really appreciate, but what beautiful houses around here.
oh, this is a nice neighborhood. These all used to be summer cottages.
I know. I used to own a place over on Wanarest. You know where Wanarest is? When you walked up that hill, by the time you got to the top, you wanted to rest.
Well, this used to be a 5-room ranch.
Is that right?
It was a little red house.
Oh.
We had a fire.
No kidding.
So, my kids were looking for a place.
So you decided, well, let's get together.
Hey, yeah.
There you go.
And this is what resulted. This is all prefab, too.
No kidding. Oh, this was like a modular?
Yeah.
Okay. I do a lot of work for Westchester Modular, believe it or not. They call me up, hey, Rich, we need you down in Scarsdale. All right, I'm going to shut this off, guys. Okay, so you're starting to get an idea, and you see how the process works. The unfortunate thing with his house was the orientation of the house, you know, with the sun. And I'll tell you guys, as things go, as we go down the road, you're going to see people are going to start to orientate their houses, not to line up with the street, but to line up with the sun, because you want the major portion of your roof facing south. And you'll see where they'll actually start to make streets that run in an orientation where all the streets on the house can benefit, because either you'll put the panels on the front or on the back. But both sides of the street can do it. But, you know, these are things that we're gonna learn, and I'm sure through time. You know, just like now when you go to build a house, you know, you have an insulation inspection, you have an electrical inspection, you have a plumbing inspection. I'm sure that in years to come, you're going to have a solar panel inspection. It's going to be like anything else. You know what I mean? Years ago, did you ever think that we were going to have cable TV? No. Can you think that living without cable TV now? No. Guys, everything is relative. All right, now, let's forge ahead. We're going to go back to the second part of the clip, and we're going to let our buddy explain more, and you'll get a closer look at some panels. So, Judy? Okay. Guys, this is what the panels look like. And then, the guy that was on the roof, he told me that they come in different colors. I thought they only came in black, but it's obvious that this is more bluish. And he said that there's other shades, which I thought was interesting.
Ah, I didn't know that.
You should tell him, do you have any purple ones? So anyway, and I would say that panel's what, 6 feet by 2 feet?
Not even 6 feet.
Yeah.
Because I'm 5'4", and it's about up to my head here.
And then I wonder, you know, when, if you turn it around, where's the the electricity that's generating? Yeah, but what does it do? Like right now, what happens to it? Does it just...
Nothing.
Now what?
It's not hooked up. I mean, it's probably collecting a little bit, which is why they have it like this.
Right. So that, no, but what I'm saying is, if it's generating and if it's got no place to go, you know what I mean?
But it doesn't store, so it's not.
Right. Just a thought. Somebody's got to think of these things. All right, so
collecting.
let me. No, you already got a card, so I'm going to come back, and then I'm just going to gently nudge your neighbors and say hi. You know, introduce my. If I get them to watch the show, who knows?
Yeah. And
if they go ahead with it, and
well, they'd have to watch it on YouTube because, of course, Comcast isn't out here.
Right. But you know, the thing is, when I start showing this each week, like I told you, I'm going to I've got the Solar City chart here, but I got to go I'm actually going to show this. This is Mary Lou's house up in New Fairfield. So each week I'm going to show what she generates.
What she generates.
Yeah, so that people can go.
You also get to show how much money she saved?
Well, they don't show that on this graph.
Yeah.
They show weekly, monthly, the daily, and the year, but they don't show you the
It's all
money.
downloaded from the net.
Right, but I tell you, and I mean every day it's like I'm cheering for her. Hey,
We only expect to save 10 to 20 bucks a month.
right. Well, yeah, okay. So that's still 10 to 20 bucks a month.
Right.
But the thing is, if you would have better orientation and a bigger roof, there's going to be people that are going to be able to save 200 bucks a month. And those people are the ones, hey, the sun put my kid through college for me. It's that simple. And why people don't take advantage of this is beyond me. And getting back to what I said, earlier, is, no more left, right. Straight ahead. You can put the panels on your roof to feel warm and fuzzy, or you can put it on to feel greedy and whatever.
That's
but
right.
still, when it comes to putting the money in your pocket, it's all green.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm really anxious for this to work.
Well, I tell you, what you got to do is once you get it up and running, you got to email me, and then every day we'll root for you. Every week we'll root for you on YouTube.
It may be a while because CL&P has 30 days to hook up the reverse meter, and they'll probably take every day.
Yeah, because at Mary Lou's house they had I thought the meter was supposed to turn backwards, but you see it has an arrow now. You're going to have an arrow, and when the arrow's pointing towards the street, that means you're feeding the grid. And when the arrow's pointing towards the house, that means you're taking it from the grid. So you're going to be supplying the grid at the most expensive time of the day with electricity, getting paid a premium, and you're going to be buying it back at the cheapest part of the day at night. So do all your washing and everything at night. I want to thank you very much. It was really nice of you to share with us, and hopefully you'll send me an email, and we'll keep up with you. And thanks for everything. And wish you to. Man, I'm going to come talk to your neighbors. I'm really going to try to get this done. All right.
That'd be interesting.
All right. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Hey, Mark. I want to thank you. I mean, you really did the community a service by, offering to talk to me. Very nice of you. And I tell you, it's guys like you that are, interested in investing in the common good. But, you didn't lay any money out of pocket. So how could you go wrong? And, a lot of people are concerned. They say, well, if I put the panels on my roof, what happens if there's a hailstorm? Or what happens if a tree limb? Or what happens if... Guys, it's their system. They will fix it. You are now a solar generating plant. You've made an agreement with them. It's a 20-year commitment. And the one thing that we didn't think about when we were talking about the price of electricity, he's saving maybe 20 bucks a month now. But don't forget, each month that electric bill is going to go higher. So let's say if it's 5% a year, think about at the end of 20 years. How much money he's going to save because he's locked his cost in. For 20 years, he's locked in. And as long as the sun keeps shining, he's going to make money. It's that simple. All right, now, when we were watching the video, you probably saw the guys climbing around on the roof. And this is the one thing I keep saying to everybody. Guys, anybody, women, kids, well, kids maybe not. But the solar industry is going to be the biggest industry in the next 10 years. Go online to any of the companies. Fill out an application form, send it in online. What do you got to lose? They're hiring. I mean, they're hiring. And now we're going to show you some guys that were over on the other side of the world, over in Afghanistan and the Far East. And they're going from helmets to hard hats. So instead of blowing stuff up, they're building stuff. And here we are going to BrightSource. And don't forget, BrightSource is going to come online virtually any day now. So Judy, let's see the helmets to hard hats.
Helmets to Hard Hats program is a program designed for veterans coming out of the service and helps them transition into construction jobs through all the different trades and crafts. I was in the Marine Corps from early 2001 until 2006. When I came out in 06, most people are either at college or doing a trade early on in their life. Now you're kind of 5 years behind the curve. So what the apprentice program and Helmets to Hard Hats set me up with is basically getting me started again where I would have been after high school.
When I first got out of the military, like a lot of people, I went on unemployment, which was very disheartening. The money that I make now is excellent for my family. The stability, health care, long-term pension plans.
And usually for us, like as an apprentice, we end up working with everybody. Like for my day, I've worked with 15, 20 different people already, all over the job site.
We learned how to drive the rock trucks, the water trucks, semis, flatbeds. They honor your service, and you're not looked at as an average Joe.
Obviously, getting a job is a huge thing for my family, giving me a steady paycheck, allowing me to take care of my son who didn't have health insurance after he was born, so now he's got health insurance.
The Armed Forces, of course, gives them integrity. It gives them a spirit to work. They're used to working in these conditions. Here we are in the Mojave Desert. It gets hot.
The weather's not that bad. It is, we are Mojave Valley or whatever. 106 today, I think, probably, but I like it.
I think what we're hoping is that these young veterans, as they come up in our company and get their skill sets, will be our next replacements. And of course, I'm excited about it because I am a veteran. And when I got back from Vietnam, that program didn't exist.
This is the biggest solar thermal energy plant there is, and just to be out here is amazing. To drive by one day and say, hey, I built that from the ground up. I was a part of that.
I'm not wearing a green uniform, but I'm still a part of a bigger thing, and I think that's why a lot of people join the Marine Corps, is to be a part of something that's bigger than yourself.
Guys, when Bright Source comes online, it's going to be a game changer because, as we know, it's going to feed over 300,000 homes with clean, renewable solar energy. And look at all the people it's going to put to work, and let's just keep it going, Now, we've had some fun with Stuart Varney in the past, and you guys know how much I love to hate Fox. And tonight, we're going to give Stuart Varney the business again. And why? Because he deserves it. And you're going to see, he's going to be talking to an atheist now, and it's around Christmas time, but you're going to see how Stuart Varney tries to insult and upset David Silverman, and you can see why I have such a beef with Fox. So, Judy, roll it.
Over the weekend, I gave money to the Salvation Army. Twice. I put $1 in the bucket, and the bell ringer said, Happy Holidays. Now, the Salvation Army is a Christian charity, so why not say Merry Christmas? I was told they don't want to offend anyone. Why would anyone be offended by Merry Christmas, even if they don't celebrate it? Come on. Joining us now is David Silverman. He is the president of American Atheists. David, welcome back. Good to have you.
Thank you very much for having me back on the show.
Merry Christmas, David.
Happy holidays, Stuart.
Are you offended?
A little bit, because you know...
Wait. You're a big guy.
No, let me tell you why.
You're 6 foot tall. You're 200 pounds, for God's sake.
And you know...
You are... Wait a second. Wait a second.
I'm not an atheist.
Are you offended? You're offended?
Stuart,
come on.
If you know I don't celebrate the holiday and you say Merry Christmas, of course it's meant to offend.
No.
Yes, it is.
So,
but the Salvation...
Okay, if I was a total stranger, I'm a total stranger. I'm full of goodwill. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas. Are you offended?
A little, and I'll tell you why.
What do you mean? How can you possibly be offended? Merry Christmas.
Let me explain.
Go.
It presumes Christianity, and that's why the Salvation Army has changed their tune. This Christian organization has realized that...
There's nothing of the sort.
No, it does. the Christian organization has realized that inclusiveness is good ethics and good business. And saying happy holidays without the presumption of Christianity includes the Jews, the Muslims, the atheists who donate to their cause. It's a good idea, and it's good ethics, too.
I think you lost point number one on the grounds that a man like you could not possibly be offended about the mere words. But let me move on to point number two. You're a lawyer, I believe.
No.
You're not?
No.
But the atheist organization employs a lot of lawyers, doesn't it?
Yes, we do.
And your style is to go into a small town where they're perhaps, displaying a cross of some sort? Or
on public land?
Oh, yeah, they're outrageous.
And demand equality.
And you sue them.
We demand equality.
And you sue them. And you know perfectly well that they don't have the money to defend themselves, so they have to cave.
So they should obey the law.
So they have to cave.
They have to obey the law.
So you apply your legal muscle and your financial... This is a financial program. You use your financial muscle to make people
to
force people to cave.
And you know what?
Force people to change.
We're going to continue to do that, Stuart, because the U.S. government is required to remain religiously neutral.
That's very interesting.
It's not cool for them to take sides on the religious debate.
So if one person objects and says, I am offended by that cross,
it's not about
we must all change.
It is not about being offended. It is about equal representation from the government, and we will demand that, yes.
Let me see. Can I see that billboard again? Just put it up for me.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's look at it.
You know,
Keep the merry, dump them. This is one of the most benign billboards we've ever put up.
Do you realize how insulting that is?
This is not an insulting billboard. What's insulting about this billboard?
It is.
What?
Why? You're calling people of faith having faith in a myth. You're calling them out. It's just
old news.
You're looking down on them.
The last time we put a billboard up, the last billboard we put up called "All Religions Scams." This billboard says, "Hey, you know what? If you think God is a myth, you can have a happy holiday anyways."
Why do you deliberately? Well, I've got one comment. No. I don't know why you do this. Why do you deliberately go and insult
millions.
people? I've had my say. Kirsten Powers is with us. She's shifting to the center.
Do I get to answer any of your questions?
No, you don't. Kirsten, go.
Okay, I'll just sit here.
Here's the question. I mean, if you're so concerned about offense, you were just offended by him saying that, but then you put that billboard up. I mean, it's like, you don't think that's offensive?
I'm not concerned about offense. He asked me if I was offended, and I answered him. I'm not saying that I were concerned about offense. There are lots of Christian billboards up there that are offensive to atheists. They have every right to be up. We have a right to put up our views as well, and our view is that if you're not religious, you can still have a grand old holiday season. Keep the...
We did it again, but we're getting better. But, you could see how vicious Stuart Varney is. And he has an agenda, and this is all they care about. They don't care about what's fair and honest, fair and balanced. If you think Fox is fair and balanced, you got a couple of screws loose. And listen, I want to say hi to my buddy James Cook on the Glenn Beck website. Man, I tell you, I've met a few loose cannons in my life, but this guy takes the cake. I mean, he can't be specific. He doesn't know how to. And James, that's what you deserve, babe, because I tell you, it's guys like you that are so mixed up and so confused and are so easily misled by people like Stuart Varney that it's sad. So, Judy, how much time we got left? None? Guys, we'll see you next week. I think next week we're going to look at something completely different. You're going to have to tune in to find out what it is.